Hello students, my name is Dr. Alice Mani. I will be imparting lessons on Business Law, course 306. I am the resource person for Mahatma Gandhi National Council of Rural Education. This is part of the BBA Rural Management course. This course, that is Chapter 4, is titled Consumer Protection Act 2019, and this will be covered as 4 video lessons. The first video lesson will look at the basic features of the Consumer Protection Act 2019 and the rights of consumers. The second video lesson will cover Consumer Protection Council Rules 2020 and Mediation Proceedings. The third video lesson will cover the procedure for consumer complaints. The fourth video lesson will provide insights about Central Consumer Protection Authority. We will cover the second video lesson of the 4th chapter, that is Consumer Protection Council Rules 2020 and Mediation Proceedings, in this video lesson. So let us go ahead and understand the topic in details. I have structured this lesson in the following way. This lesson will cover 4 broad topics. The first will be an introduction to the Consumer Protection Council Rules 2020. The second introduction or the second objective is to understand the nature of and working of the working groups and meetings of the Consumer Protection Council. The third objective is to provide insights about consumer redressal agencies. And the fourth and last objective is to provide insights about the mediation proceedings. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand the basic features of Consumer Protection Council Rules 2020, about the working groups of the same, and meetings of the Consumer Protection Council, consumer redressal agencies, and how the mediation process happen in the consumer as per the Consumer Protection Act. Thus, you will get information about the legal procedures, how to fight for your legal rights, the competent authorities to file complaints, their jurisdiction, the procedure for filing complaints, and the eligibility for filing complaints, and also about the mediation procedures. This will be helpful for those who will become entrepreneurs in future, or to understand the basic legal implications as consumers. This will equip us with the basic knowledge to be more alert and responsible in protecting our legal rights as consumers or as a seller, a service provider, manufacturer, distributor, wholesaler, retailer, or as a buyer. Moreover, the knowledge about the rights of a consumer will guide us in entering the right transactions and not to get cheated, either in the online or offline mode of purchase. So let us understand this topic in details. To begin with, one of the major drawbacks of the previous Consumer Protection Act 1986 was that there were no protection authorities in order to keep a check, regulate, and address the grievances of the consumers in an effective and speedy manner. Chapter 3 of the Consumer Protection Act 2019 removes this drawback and provides with the Central Consumer Protection Authority, or commonly called as CCPA, which has been added in the new Act, that is the Act of 2019, in order to regulate matters relating to violation of rights of consumers, unfair trade practices, and false or misleading advertisements, which are prejudicial to the interests of public and consumers, and to promote, protect, and enforce the rights of consumers as a group. Central authority shall consist of a chief commissioner to be appointed by the central government to exercise the powers and discharge the functions under this Act. It will consist of an investigation wing headed by a Director General for the purpose of conducting enquiry or investigation under this Act, as may be directed by the central authority. An appeal to an order passed by the CCPA on this issue can be filed before the National Commission within a period of 30 days from the date of receipt of such order. Composition of the Central Consumer Protection Council is fixed as a committee of 36 members. Now let us see who all will come in the committee. The first person or the chairperson, that is the minister in charge of consumer affairs in the central government. He will be the chairperson of the Central Council. Now, the Minister of State or Deputy Minister in charge of consumer affairs in the central government will be the vice chairman of this committee or the Central Council. Now, what is the responsibility of state ministers? The state ministers in charge of consumer affairs or an administrator, it can be a governor of a union territory, will be members, and their term will change by rotation on expiration of the term or on expiry of the term of the Central Council, and the term of the council is usually 3 years. Again, 2 members of parliament, one from the Lok Sabha and one from the Rajya Sabha. Then representatives of departments of central government, autonomous organizations or regulators concerned with consumer interest, not exceeding 5 members to be nominated by the central government. Then the Chief Commissioner of the Central Consumer Protection Authority. Then the Registrar, the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission, New Delhi. Then representatives of consumer organizations, not exceeding 5 members, to be nominated by the central government. Again, 5 representatives of consumer organizations, consumer activists, research and training organizations, academicians, farmers, trade or industry. This also not exceeding 5 members. 1 from each of the regions specified in Schedule 1, of whom at least 1 will be a woman. Next, the secretaries in charge of consumer affairs in the states, not exceeding 3 members, to be nominated by the central government. Again, the secretary in charge of consumer affairs in the central government shall be the member. Secretary of the Central Council. So you can see that how central government is trying to protect the interests of consumers by keeping its advisory board members in the committee, by including people from all walks of life to represent their ideas, suggestions and concerns. Now let us think about the term of the council. The term of the Central Council, as I have already mentioned, it's 3 years. But the Central Council can continue to function for a further period of 3 months if the central government has not constituted the new committee. Now we have to think about the working groups. The functioning of the working groups. The working groups shall report to the chairperson of the Central Council. The findings of each working group shall be placed before the Central Council for its consideration. The working group shall cease to function on the completion of the task for which it is constituted. We can say that one project is completed. The meetings of the Central Council shall ordinarily be held in the national capital, that is Delhi. Now let us understand about the district, state and national commission. It is important to know its structure and the claim limits for filing complaints if you come across any problems or any consumer disputes in future. To protect consumer rights, the Act mentions that the establishment of 3 redressal mechanisms, that are district, state and national commissions, wherein the consumers can approach to address their grievances. District commission, let us think about the district commission. So this is the lowest level in the redressal commission that consumers can approach. Second is the State Commission, and third is the National Commission. Now, for the District Commission, the state government under Section 28 subsection 1 establishes at least one District Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission in every district of the state. If the state government deems fit, it can even establish more than one district commission in a district. Every district commission needs to have a minimum of one president and 2 members, but can have more members after discussing it with the central government. For a redressal value above 1 crore or less than that, then we have to approach the district commission. Now let us see how the district commission is constituted. The state government establishes a state commission under section 42 subsection 1 of the Act in the state through the notification, and can even establish regional branches if it thinks fit. Each state commission shall consist of one president and not less than 4 members, and a maximum of as many members as required. Claims from 1 crore to 10 crore are filed with the State Commission. Under Section 53 subsection 1, the central government establishes a National Commission through notification. The main National Commission operates from Delhi, but the central government can establish regional branches through notification. The National Commission must have one president and at least 4 members, with the maximum number decided by the central government. Now, what is the limit for claims in the National Commission? The claims above 10 crore are to be filed with the National Commission. Now, let us see who all are eligible to file complaints under the District Consumer Commission. They are any consumer, consumer associations, consumers with common interests like vegetarians, pet lovers, environmental activities, vehicle owners, or it can be religious groups, anything. It can also be those who got cheated by a builder, private money lender, a private bank, customers, etc. As we have already learned in this video lesson that in order to provide inexpensive, speedy and summary redressal of consumer disputes, quasi-judicial bodies have been set up in each district and state and the national level called district commissions, state consumer disputes redressal commissions, and the national consumer disputes redressal commission respectively. Now let us look at the constitution of these redressal commissions. The persons having decisions and act on behalf of all of us to protect our rights as per the Consumer Protection Act. First, we have to look at the constitution of the District Consumer Redressal Commission. Each district commission is headed by a person who is or has been or is eligible to be appointed as a district judge. Now, let us look at the constitution of a State Consumer Redressal Commission. Who will head this association or commission? Each state commission shall consist of one president and 2 or more other members. The president shall be a person who is or has been a judge of a high court appointed by the state government. But his appointment should be made in consultation with the Chief Justice of High Court. Finally, we have to learn the constitution of the National Consumer Redressal Commission. The National Commission was constituted in the year 1988. It was headed by a sitting or retired judge of the Supreme Court of India. Do you know who is heading this commission now? I know that you will quickly Google and see, but I can tell you now. The National Commission is presently headed by Honorable Mr. Justice R.K. Agarwal, former judge of the Supreme Court of India, as president, and it has got 8 members. In order to help achieve the objectives of Consumer Protection Act, the National Commission has also been conferred with the powers of administrative control over all the state commissions by calling for periodical returns regarding the institution, disposal and solving the pending cases. The National Commission is empowered to issue instructions regarding adoption of uniform procedure in the hearing of the matters. Second, prior service of copies of documents produced by one party to the opposite parties. Third, speedy grant of copies and documents. And fourth, generally overseeing the functioning of the state commissions as the district commissions to ensure that the objects and purposes of the Act are best served without interfering with the quasi-judicial freedom. Who all can file complaints under Consumer Protection Act 2019? This list has 6 categories of people. They are, already we have explained with the district commission, again we are repeating this: consumers, consumer groups, consumer associations, central or state governments, a guardian or parent for a minor, or any central authority representing common interests like vehicle owners, National Permit Truck Owners Association, road transport operators, etc. Now let us look at the last objective of this module, that is the mediation process. Mediation is the need of the hour for the speedy and efficient disposal of consumer cases. And it's commendable looking at the way the government has a clear plan to employ mediators who can solve disputes, thereby adding less burden on the judiciary. As far as the appointment of the mediator is concerned under this Act, the parties to the dispute who will have to mutually decide the same about the role of a sole mediator or an independent mediator. In case the parties are unable to reach a consensus who can work as an independent mediator, the concerned commission shall nominate or appoint a mediator as it deems fit to act as an independent mediator. As the first step, the procedure is a written request has to be made to the concerned authorities, that is, whether it is district, state or national commission where the complaint was filed. So this commission will take the decision regarding the appointment of the mediator. The request should contain the following information. First is a brief explanation about the nature of dispute. Second, the claim requested by the parties. Third, the names and addresses of all parties included, including their email IDs, consumer numbers. If they have appointed a lawyer to represent the convocation or to represent the discussion, then the lawyer's information also, that is phone number, email ID, all that. Also, the qualifications of the mediator, such as his language of communication, skills or mediation experience on the subject matter, has to be mentioned in the request letter. Such a request has to be accompanied by a court fee amounting to ₹500. Now, let us discuss the role of the mediator. We know the role of mediators, right? The mediator should try to facilitate a voluntary resolution of the dispute between the parties and communicate the view of each party to the other, assist them in identifying the issues, reducing the clashes, glorifying the priorities, highlight the areas of compromise, and lastly, generating options in an attempt to solve the disputes, and constantly pressing on the point where parties have to make a decision. Now, let us look at the mediation proceedings. The procedure for conducting mediation proceedings by the mediation cell has been laid down in section 79 of the Consumer Protection Act 2019. It is made clear that mediation shall be held in the consumer mediation cell attached to either district, state or national commission as the case may be. The mediator is also bound to have regard to the rights and obligations of the parties, the usages of trade, the circumstances for consumer dispute, and such other relevant factors which are necessary to decide about the mediation. Also, these will be the guiding principles of natural justice while carrying out the mediation. The mediator is also duty bound to complete the proceedings within the prescribed time limit of 3 months by the Consumer Protection Mediation Rules 2020. Imagine one party does not participate in the proceedings of the mediation process. Then the Consumer Commission may ask the party to participate in such proceedings. This request will be sent by the Commission. It is important to note that the mediator will be guided by natural justice and fair play principles, but will not be bound by the provisions of the Indian Contract Act 1872. The proceedings record shall be drafted by the mediator on each date and it will be signed by both the parties concerned or all the parties involved in the mediation process or their chosen counsel, attorneys or authorized representatives. The agreement which is executed between the concerned parties will be submitted by the mediator to the Consumer Commission, whether it is district, state or national, in a sealed cover and along with the forwarding letter. A copy of this report is submitted to both the parties with their signatures. Signatures include all the parties included in the mediation. If no agreement is executed between the concerned parties within the prescribed time limit, then the mediator will intimate the same to the Consumer Commission, stating reasons for not settling the issue. Our learning wouldn't be complete if we don't assess what we have learned. So here I am giving one activity for you. Explain the step-by-step process through which a consumer can go about filing a complaint against a product. I hope you can do that. Now that we have reached the end of this lesson, I hope that you have learned the basic features of Consumer Protection Council Rules 2020 and the mediation proceedings. I hope that you got a good insight on the topics we discussed in this module. To conclude this video lesson, we covered the second module of Consumer Protection Act, that is Consumer Protection Council Rules 2020 and the mediation proceedings. In the next video lesson, we will cover the third module of this chapter or the unit, that is Procedure for Consumer Complaints. Until we meet again, bye. Thank you.